Toronto is viewed as the front runners in the Dame sweepstakes. I could talk about this and then this exact trade could happen. Or they could trade Scotty. Or they could trade OG Anunoby. They could trade Gary Trent Jr. I don't care who they trade.
12 seconds later.
The Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, All-NBA guard Damian Lillard. It's a three-team trade that brings Lillard to the Bucks.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't expect to record this today, but I'm here. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck. Let me look you in the eyes when I say this. Damian Lillard is a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. I didn't expect to be recording this. I just got back from school, but Dame is a Buck. That is crazy. The full trade. The Bucks receive Damian Lillard. The Blazers receive DeAndre and Drew Holiday and I think some sort of picks. 2029 first round pick, I think it was. And some second round picks. And the Suns receive Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. What a trade, man. What a trade. Damian Lillard has been in talks for the past 3 months. Let me actually start with a story. A funny story, actually. I released, if you guys didn't see it today, I released my Raptors preview, my season preview for the Raptors. In the video I said, I could record this video, or I could upload this video, and Dame could get traded in like 3 hours. I uploaded the video at 12:15. Dame got traded 10 minutes later. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. I have a screenshot of it. I'm pretty sure I posted to my story on Instagram. It says video 17 minutes ago, like the video I uploaded 17 minutes ago. And then Dame trade 4 minutes ago. Ridiculous. I don't understand why they have to do this to me. Dame got traded. I talked about Dame in that video and the Raptors, but it doesn't matter anymore. Dame is a Milwaukee Buck. First of all, let's talk about this from Dame's side of things. Obviously, Dame requested a trade to the Heat. He didn't go to the Heat. It is what it is. I mean, honestly, with the package that the Blazers got, this is a much better deal than anything the Heat could have given. Well, not anything. The Heat weren't trading Butler, and they weren't trading Bam. The deal was going to be Tyler Hero, and then some sort of 3-team deal or something like that. But looking at just Tyler Hero, they got Drew Holiday and DeAndre Ayton. And in my eyes, that is a much better deal. But from Dame's side of things, of course he wanted to go to Miami, and we could see that in the interviews he had over the past few weeks, the Instagram stories, all that. And he didn't end up in Miami. And the funniest thing is, after Dame got traded, Jimmy Butler released a story on Instagram saying the NBA gotta look into the Bucks for tampering. All I'm saying is, he mad. I'm just saying, me personally, I'd be mad too. Dame was supposed to come to our team, help us win a ring. We just made the finals. We get Dame, it's GG's. But, Giannis said no. And you know what's also, I'm just going from topic to topic. Giannis, he said something along the lines of, the Bucks, I'm not here to play for the Bucks, I'm here to win. He's in the NBA to win, he wants to win. And he talked about Hakeem too. He said something along the lines of, Hakeem got 2 rings and I got 1. I want to be like Hakeem, so I got to get 2. And if Giannis gets a second ring, he's definitely up there with some of the greatest, but he's probably top 20 guaranteed. Some people might already have him like top 30, top 40, maybe in top 25, some people. But if Giannis gets that second ring, he's top 50, he's definitely top 20 in the conversation for top 15 player in NBA history. So I can understand him wanting to win. And the Bucks heard him, and the Bucks don't want to lose Giannis. Giannis is just about one of the top 2 best players in the NBA. So when they heard him talking about that, they made moves. and Drew Holiday. The interview part of this, the interview aspect is so funny because Drew Holiday also said, "I want to retire as a Milwaukee Buck." And guess what happened? He got traded like literally it might have been in an interview he had like days ago. Days later, traded. He wanted to retire as a Buck. He couldn't see himself leaving the Bucks because he said he wants to retire at the end of his current contract, and he was gonna retire on the Bucks. But nope. He left, he's gone now, and he's in Portland. And I mean, now let me actually get to the team side of these things. With Portland, this is actually, if I had to give them a trade grade, let me talk about them first. Portland, this is actually, I see this as an absolute win for them. Portland wins this trade. I mean, of course, you'll trade away Dame, but you got back DeAndre Ayton, who was a first overall pick and still has potential. And you got Drew Holiday, who is a veteran, who's a leader, who can help your team or help your young players kind of get better. And when you got Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe, guys who need leadership, then that's of course the type of guy you want on this team, man. Drew Holiday's the perfect guy. He plays defense, he shoots threes well, he's a good mentor. He can be all that for this Blazers team. And I have heard reports that he might get shipped off to a third team, but right now, if they kept Drew Holiday, honestly, I'd like that move, because even then, if you keep Drew Holiday, you still have a solid team with Drew Holiday, Anthony Simons, either Shaedon Sharpe or Matisse Thybulle at the 3, at the 4, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton. That's a good team right there. So, or not a good team, but a solid team. So they have a bunch of guys who could be solid secondary, third stars, you know what I'm saying? Or not stars, but like stars. So my point is, this is Drew Holiday to the Blazers is a good move because it helps them overall. It helps their defense. It helps it gives them a leader, because this is also an extremely young team, and they could use a leader, a type of guy to be a mentor. And especially losing a guy like Jusuf Nurkic in this trade, you'll want a guy back who can talk to the young guys, help them out, do stuff like that. And especially as a mentor for Scoot Henderson, I think this would work out amazingly. I really hope he stays on the Blazers and doesn't get shipped off to a third team, because I like this spot for him. But we'll see what happens. There's also the case with DeAndre Ayton. And DeAndre Ayton, he was the first overall pick in the 2018 draft, and he's shown flashes, but he hasn't really done anything he hasn't done what Luka has done, what Trae Young has done, what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done. These are all guys who were drafted, Jaren Jackson Jr. even. These are all guys who were drafted after him, and he hasn't met their expectations yet. I mean, he's passed Marvin Bagley, but that's about it. Okay, that's disrespectful, but you get what I'm trying to say. DeAndre Ayton is still a really good center in the league. And for a young team like this, where they're giving these players time and opportunities to develop, with Scoot Henderson there, I am kind of curious about the Scoot Henderson DeAndre Ayton there fit, but with Scoot Henderson there, with Shaedon Sharpe, with Anthony Simons, with all these young guys on the team, I honestly like the idea of DeAndre Ayton being there, because he kind of fits into this young core where now all these guys are getting opportunities to hoop. And you never know, maybe they can have a nice little play-in run, maybe. Because Drew Holiday is still a really good player. DeAndre Ayton is still a pretty good player. Anthony Simons is a really good player. So you never know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see. And this most definitely, if Drew stays, that most definitely means that Scoot's coming off the bench. But honestly, I don't hate this idea just because Drew is a great mentor. If it was some guy like Kyrie, no disrespect to Kyrie, but I don't know if he's as good of a mentor as Drew Holiday would be. But yeah, point being, I like this trade for the Blazers. I'd honestly give them, I mean, they did only get one first round pick, so I can't give it an A, but I'll give it a B+. Maybe an A-, but ranging from a B+ to an A-, around that tier. Then when we look at this trade for the Bucks, this is what you guys want to hear. We got the duo. I have a friend, actually, Noah. You guys have heard him if you watch the Fortnite videos on the main channel. I have a friend, he's a Bucks fan and a Blazers fan. And he's been talking about this for like the past, ever since, even before Dame requested a trade. He wanted Dame to go to Portland. This is a dream, or Dame to go to Milwaukee. This is a dream come true for him. And when I first asked him about it, because I found out about it like the same time as he did. I told him about it, and he was hyped at first. But then he was like, wait, Drew? We gave up Drew? And I could understand why, because Drew Holiday brought a lot to this team. He was a great catch and shoot player. He was one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, one of the best defenders in general in the league. And he's just a great player who brings a lot of leadership to the team as well. And now, he was a great guy to complement Giannis, really. And now you replace that with Dame. But Dame is also a great shooter. He's nowhere near as good of a defender as Drew Holiday is. So a bit of that defensive identity that the Bucks had is going away. But still, you get Damian Lillard. And Damian Lillard is a top 15 player in the league. Like I said in my Raptors video that I don't even know if I'm going to keep up anymore. Damian Lillard is an amazing player. And Dame, of course, he doesn't bring the defensive stuff and the leadership. Well, he does. He is a pretty decent. He doesn't bring the defense. He doesn't bring some of the stuff that Drew Holiday brings, but he's still a great player, and he's still like Dame and Giannis in a pick and roll. I heard Kenny talk about this, so I know I'm kind of backpacking on what he said. But Dame and Giannis in a pick and roll. If you don't double team Dame, he's getting a shot on you. He's cooking whoever's defending him on the pick and roll. If you don't get a double on Giannis, he's gonna cook you on the pick and roll. But if you double team either of them, the other guy's open and it's GG's. So I don't know how teams are gonna figure out how to guard that. That's tough, but because these are two of the most unstoppable offensive players in the league. So it's gonna be interesting to see how other teams adjust to this. But one thing I don't like about the Bucks with this trade is because they gave up a lot of their depth. And it makes sense. You're trading for Damian Lillard. You're trading for Damian Lillard. Of course, you're going to have to give up a lot. But it's still like, I still wish that, because the depth, we've seen teams that sacrifice depth for star power, like the Nets, and we saw what happened with the Nets. So that's why I'm kind of questionable about it, especially because they lost Drew Holiday, lost Grayson Allen. Is that all they lost? Okay, the depth isn't that crazy. But, I mean, it wasn't good to begin with. So just losing Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen just worsens it even more. But you still have an amazing team. Chris Middleton, who's an all-star caliber player at his peak. Brooke Lopez, who was a DPOY candidate. And then you still have guys off the bench who can produce. Wesley Matthews, a great shooter. He's probably going to be the guy starting at the 2 for them, but we'll see. You got Pat Connaughton, you got Bobby Portis still there. So you still got some guys who can hoop. I just still have my doubts. But this team should definitely be 100% a good regular season team at the very least. And maybe even they could win a championship. They have potential to win a championship. It's just I'm not so sure about the guys on the team who are like, the supporting cast, that's what I should say. I'm not so confident about how good they are, but we'll see what happens. 100%, this is an A trade, not an A+, but I give it an A because I'm not so sure about the depth. But when you get Damian Lillard, you're not gonna get less than an A-. And then the last trade that I have to grade, or the last team, is the Suns, and this is the interesting team in this equation because they've been mentioned in trading DeAndre Ayton for depth, and I actually love this trade for the Suns because they traded DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton's great, but you got back Nurkic, you got back Nasir Little, you got back Grayson Allen, and those are 3 good rotational players. You have Bobo on the team, you have Josh Okogie on the team, you have, I don't know who else is on the team, but they have a good cast of solid rotational players. So I honestly see the Suns team being really, really good this season. And I like the way they formed it, man. I like the way they built around KD, Beal, and Booker. I mean, of course the defense is going to be a little lackluster, but if they can get it to work offensively, as we've seen, if you just have a few decent defensive guys and amazing offense, like the Denver Nuggets, it could work. And I mean, I don't know how many of these guys on this team really can play defensively like that, but we'll see what happens, man. Honestly, I'd give the Suns a solid B+ or A-. It's the same thing as the Blazers. Actually, you know what? I'll give the Blazers an A-. I'll give the Suns a B+ because they gave up Aiden, and they should. I mean, honestly, where Aiden's value is at right now, they got a pretty decent package back. So this is a good trade for all sides, to be honest. And now we have to wait to see if James Harden will get traded. We have to wait to see if Drew Holiday will get flipped to another team. Also, I'm low-key waiting on Pascal Siakam to get traded, but chances are he's not going to get traded because the Raptors don't do anything. So it is what it is. The one thing that does kind of suck is now I have to reform my NBA standings again. So that sucks, and that's great, but it is what it is. I mean, the way I see this happening, the Blazers are going to be a solid, barely out of the play-in, maybe possibly play-in hopeful team. The Bucks, this makes them 100% a lock for still a top 3 seed. I probably put them up higher now in the standings because they have Dame, and Dame in the regular season always comes to play. That's really when he gets the most opportunity to play. But yeah, he plays in the playoffs as well, but he's one of those guys that all his effort in the regular season. And then when I look at the third team, the Suns, this really just makes them, this doesn't change them much. I mean, it just makes them more of a deep team, and that really is going to help them, I guess, in the playoffs, because that's when clutch role players can, be clutch. So that's about all I have to say for this Dame trade. I didn't plan to release another video today, but it is what it is. We're here. And expect to see a video about, who did I talk about? Shoot. The Thunder. Expect to see a video about the Thunder coming tomorrow. I'm out.